The Haunebu, almost done with it. Last time I left off, I put a sealer on it. I had to do some touch-ups on the bottom where I had a little bit of the splinter powdered paint. I don't know how it got on some spots, but it did. Anyway, I took the base coat here and touched up, and then I put a sealer on it. And I got to do one more thing, and I want to do a little bit of post shading, just do a little outline. I want to do it very, very subtle. And it's basically going to be this with a little bit darker of the base coat. It's just going to be just very, very subtle. And I want it to be more realistic than toy-like that it is right now. I just think it looks plain and just needs just a little bit of something to just make it pop. But anyway, that's almost done. I'll try to get that accomplished either today or tomorrow. Interior, I finished it off. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see with all the it's actually a bunch of washes, and then I took Tester's dull coat there and I sprayed it, and I think the washes with the dull coat just makes it everything pop. Gives it a little bit of color in there, doesn't make it look just plain and basically boring. But anyway, did some washes on the walls, the doors there and everything, so it's kind of hard to see even if I try to put a bunch of light in it. Very, very subtle in effect, but very cool at that. Anyway, very, very fun. Did the same thing with the bottom here, and just like that. And then I put a sealer on the top, and we're almost done. We'll do a little bit of a flat coat, and we'll be ready to call this done. So anyway, that's where I stand on the Haunebu, the 69 Chevelle. I did get basically one full coat on here. I got to do one more coat, and I think one or two, and I think I'll be good to go. I got to basically flip it like that so I can paint the bottom here. But one more coat, and then I'll be ready to put Future on it to get it the shiny red that we want. But I did paint most of the hoods here. I got this one almost painted. It needs one more coat on it. Basically, I have to do one little coat and then set it to the side, let it dry. The resin one here, it's just about painted. Just got to do again one more coat on it, and then I started painting the hood hybrid here. You see where I have there's just not a good place to hold it. So I got the clip there, so what I'm going to try to do is I'll clip it again on one more side, put another coat, let that dry, and then I'll finish painting where I have it clipped off. But anyway, we're almost done with the base coats for the Chevelle here. So after I get the actually the car painted, and then I'll probably put Future on it, and then I'll go back in and I'll paint like the door handles and some of the little bit of the SS that I was asked to do. So some little silver markings, and we'll be good to go. This particular Chevelle is supposed to have silver trim on the side. I may be able to do it, maybe not. A lot of my silver, and I always got to explain that is it that one? Yep. That's basically my I don't do chrome. This is basically what I use, which is very, very subtle. I don't like the chrome effect because it's to me it looks toy-like, and I can't recreate it in paint. So I do the natural steel, but I'll show everyone once. I'll show that on the door handles and some of the markings on here once we get to that point. The red tail. This is a particular red tail. I don't know if I showed everyone. Doing the Warbird decals, but we're going to make Margot 44. That's a specific red tail that we're going to make, and it's basically the in-air toy model is basically painted exactly like the red tail that we are doing, but it had some Tuskegee, if you can see right here, markings. So what I did is I took good old-fashioned Tester's silver, painted it on there, I got basically one coat just to get the just a layer of paint on, so I get the markings. Got most of the markings covered, and I got it covered basically on both sides. I did leave a 4, that was just so I can have some reference, and then once I get the other markings painted again, I'll put a number 4 decal. I'll have the 44, and then we'll put the Margot where the Tuskegee was, and we'll be good to go on it. I mean, very, very fun, very, very quick, and you can have a unique unique model / toy, if you will, of a specific airplane. The question's been asked, and I will try to answer it. This is a B, but it's not really a B. It is a B, but it's not a B. When I build models for people, it's basically it looks like it, and it's going to be painted in the markings that they want. That's the best way I can explain it. Even if, you know, if this was bare nut accurate, you know, people might see that it is a specific B or whatever, but it really doesn't really matter. It's just basically it looks like it. It's painted in the colors that they want, and that's the way it goes. But anyway, Red Tail is getting the canopy mask, so I can paint the canopy frame on it. And then, of course, got to do the washes and everything, but I want to get the basic paint job out of the way. The D, which we're going to make a B into a D, which I'm just going to change the canopy, and I'll show everyone that once we get started. But anyway, I went ahead, and this is a Red Tail plane that was already painted too. I masked it off. I painted basically the silver on there. Basically changed up the plane. I got to get rid of all the markings for the Tuskegee, so we can add. Where is it? Where is it? We're going to do the early Mr. Weaver's bird right there, so we'll be doing that one. But anyway, we'll get that painted and taken care of. I did the wings the same way. I masked everything off. As you can see, got rid of the yellow stripes and the red, and there you have it. Already basically got the decals on. Moving quite along on that version of the Mustang. The kettenkrad, kind of moving a little bit along today. Got most of this side of the track. Weather, got to do a little bit more. I got to do some washes on the inside where I got some overspray of some gray, and I need to hide some of that. But anyway, I got most of the track realistically, but I did get all the clear parts on. I got the little red tail light. Basically dipped that in clear Tamiya red, and then I took micro crystal clear, put it in there, and just shoved it in and let it basically glue and set. The dials here are actually the clear parts from the tree itself, and I just took Future and put a couple drops and put the clear part over on top of it. And I'm going to take some more of this and put a couple more drops on it just to make it crystal clear, and I'll be done on that. The little red cross, I got it somewhat painted in a circle. I got basically one coat on. I'm going to straighten that up, and then I'll put the cross on there, and I'll be good to go on it. Almost getting close to final stages of the kettenkrad. I did get the main light on. It's on with Krylon crystal clear. Ow. You see it that way. Hopefully I got it on right. There's so many variants of the research on. This is basically an early model. I'm trying to find it. Most of them had the light that's got the, I call it a cover with a little slit in it. But anyway, there's that. And I got to paint some of the hoses and get them a little more realistic. But I got 2 more decals to put on, and that is this one right here, which goes on the back, and then one on the front, which the only thing is, when you do the front plate decal, they only give you one. They don't give you any matching for the other side. So I'm going to have to pick a side and get that on, and that will be it. But anyway, getting close and closer to finishing the kettenkrad. But anyway, that's what I've got going on today, and I'm rocking and rolling on the kettenkrad. We are painting and cheating on some Mustang, painting the 1969 Chevelle, and we are getting close to wrapping up the Haunebu. And I will also have a shed update, because we do got some nifty little kits to show and tell. But anyway, that's what I got going on today, so stay tuned for the next exciting episode.